All right, welcome back. Today, we are going to dive into something that, well, it might just flip everything you thought you knew about cholesterol completely on its head.
Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds ridiculous, right? Oreos for your health? And you're right, it should sound ridiculous. But just hang in there with me, because the answer to this question, it reveals something truly incredible about how our bodies actually work.
Okay, so take a look at this. This is from a really fascinating experiment. On one hand, you have a high-dose statin, a super powerful cholesterol drug. It lowered LDL by about 32.5%. Pretty standard, right? That's what you'd expect. But then, get this, 16 days of eating Oreos, and LDL cholesterol plummeted by a staggering 71%. I mean, that's more than double the effect of the actual drug. So what on earth is going on here? To figure out this delicious paradox, we've got to go back to square one.
So to really get what's happening with the Oreos, we have to rewind a bit and talk about what cholesterol's real job is. And I'll give you a little spoiler alert, it's probably not the villain you've been told it is.
You've heard this a million times, right? The old plumbing analogy. Cholesterol is this nasty gunk that just builds up and clogs your arteries like a backed-up drain pipe. It's a really simple story, which is why it's so sticky. But it's also, let's be honest, just not the whole picture. Not even close.
So what is cholesterol, really? Well, for starters, it's an essential molecule. Let me say that again, because it's super important. It is essential. Your body can't live without it. Every single one of your cells needs it just for basic structure, for sending signals, for its literal survival. This is not some kind of garbage your body is trying to get rid of. Just think about all the things your body builds using cholesterol as the main ingredient. We're talking about steroid hormones, like your stress and sex hormones. We're talking about vitamin D, which you make from the sun, the bile acids you need just to digest your food. And get this, even the connections between your brain cells. Your body isn't just tolerating this stuff, it's actively making and using it for critical jobs.
So yeah, that whole clogged pipe analogy, we need to throw it out. A much better way to think about it is like this. Your bloodstream is a massive highway system, and cholesterol is a key part of the fuel delivery fleet. It's like these little delivery trucks, or buses, carrying vital energy and resources exactly where they need to go, 24/7.
Okay, so this whole fuel delivery fleet idea, that brings us right to the heroes of our Oreo story. Because the secret here isn't actually about the cookie. Nope, it's all about the person eating the cookie.
These people are called lean mass hyperresponders, or LMHRs for short, and they're a fascinating group. We're usually talking about people who are pretty lean, pretty active, and they go on a really low-carb diet. What happens is their bodies adapt and basically turn into these super efficient fat-burning machines.
And this right here, this is their signature on a blood test. It's called the LMRH triad. And look at this pattern, it's wild. Their LDL cholesterol, the so-called bad cholesterol, is through the roof, like 200 or higher. But at the very same time, their HDL, the good stuff, is also crazy high. And their triglycerides, which is just fat floating in the blood, are rock bottom. It's this really specific and frankly shocking combination that you don't see every day.
So that leads to the million-dollar question, right? How does cutting carbs, something most of us think of as a good thing for your health, cause LDL to absolutely skyrocket in these specific people?
The answer is something called the lipid energy model. Let's just break it down step by step, okay? First, when you're not eating carbs, your body has to run on fat. Simple enough. Second, to get that fat fuel to your muscles and organs, your liver sends it out in these big delivery buses called VLDL. Now third, and this is key, in these lean active people, their muscles are just screaming for fuel, so they unload those buses super fast. And what happens when you unload a bus? Well, you're left with an empty bus. That's step 4. You get this huge traffic jam of empty buses, which are the LDL particles we measure. So the high LDL isn't a problem. It's actually a sign of a really efficient fuel delivery system that's working overtime.
And that is the big aha moment that solves the Oreo mystery. All the cookies did was provide a totally different kind of fuel, sugar. The body saw this rush of glucose coming in and basically sent out a memo. All right, team, stand down the fat delivery fleet. We've got a different energy source now. So the liver just stopped sending out all those fat fuel buses. No shipments, no empty buses left over. And poof, the LDL numbers just crater. And let me be absolutely crystal clear about this. This was a cool science experiment to show a metabolic switch. This is not me telling you to go on an Oreo diet.
Okay, so what in the world does this all mean for you and me? For the rest of us who probably aren't doing Oreo experiments? Well, it means we need a much, much better way to keep score of our health, one that goes way beyond looking at just a single number that can be pretty misleading.
And if there is one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. Your LDL cholesterol number all by itself is just not a reliable predictor of your actual heart disease risk. It's not. Context is absolutely everything.
So you're probably asking, okay, then what should I be looking at? Well, say hello to the triglyceride to HDL ratio. It's a super simple calculation, but it gives you a way more powerful snapshot of what's really going on with your metabolic health, and especially how well your body is handling insulin.
And you know what the best part is? You can figure this out yourself from your last blood test. Like right now. All you do is take your triglyceride number and divide it by your HDL number. That's it. For most people, the goal is to get that number under 2. If you can get it even closer to 1, that's fantastic. It gives you a real tangible number you can actually track.
So, why is this one ratio so important? Well, think about it like this. A high ratio can be a huge red flag for insulin resistance, which is at the root of so many health problems, even if your LDL number looks totally normal on paper. But on the flip side, a low ratio tells you you're probably in really good metabolic shape, even if your LDL is high, just like those lean mass hyperresponders. See? It gives you that critical context we were talking about.
All right, so let's bring this all home. How can you actually use this information? Here are a few really simple first steps you can take to put all this into action. Okay, 4 things. Super simple. Number 1, the next time you get a blood test or if you have one lying around, calculate your triglyceride to HDL ratio. Just do it. Number 2, next time you're at the doctor, ask for a fasting insulin test. It's another crucial piece of the puzzle. Now for the easy stuff you can do today. Number 3, tomorrow, just try a simple 15-minute walk before you have breakfast. And number 4, try to finish eating for the day at least 3 hours before you hit the sack. These aren't crazy changes, right? They're just foundational habits for good metabolic health.
So I want to leave you with this one big question to chew on. Is that cholesterol number on your lab report the whole story? Or is it just a single symptom of a much bigger, much more interesting metabolic story that's happening inside your body? What the whole Oreo paradox really teaches us is that digging a little deeper to find out why a number is what it is, well, that's almost always more important than just freaking out about the number itself.